Hey y'all, and welcome to Skyrim Scripting. On this episode, we're going to be learning how to use script libraries written by other mod authors in our mods to enhance our mods and make it easier for us to write them. So I wasn't even thinking we would do this in this first initial series, but I think it's really important to get you comfortable importing other code into your scripting project. So that's the goal of the episode. Actually learning these individual libraries is less important. It's really about getting you to a point where you feel comfortable downloading other folks' libraries, reading their code, just scanning it to figure out how to integrate it into your code. One of these libraries, or two of them, I haven't used before, so we'll see if I can do that. So put me on the spot. Head over to the desktop and I've got some notes. So here's just some examples of some common, some more common than others, utility libraries that I've stumbled upon. You've probably been asked in the past to install PapyrusUtil and JContainers. Those are really popular. So let's just do some of these things. We'll print to the console, which requires using PapyrusUtil or ConsoleUtil or something like that. We'll get our SkyUI config menu up and running just because that's so common. We'll do that pretty much first. Then we'll make some UI menus just pop up so that you can collect text from your user, ask them to type something, and maybe pop up like a little list that they can choose from the list. We'll read and write from text files in our Skyrim Special Edition directory. We'll read and write JSON files. And then some of these other things, we'll see if we get around to them. I'd like to show you how to use JContainers so that we can have access to JArrays, where you can kind of more arbitrarily add any number of items to an array rather than dealing with the static length arrays that are built in. You might think it's kind of cheating. This is a higher level library, but whatever makes making your mod easier on you, all this means is if you use one of these, your users will have to install one extra mod to install your mod, and that's no big deal. We want to get your modding experience as fun as possible and rewarding for you. So Fire, who wrote Pyro, has their own library with a couple functions. I think I've seen them other places. There's also a common thing called Papyrus Extender, and there's a common widget library so that you don't have to write Flash Swift files yourself for just little UI widgets. We'll maybe see if we can make a widget. So let me put this on my other screen, make it smaller on my other screen so I can pay attention to where we are at so far. And let's make a mod. It's going to do so many things that I don't have a good name for it. Let's just call it like do stuff. And I'll copy that because we'll use it in a number of places. Create a mod called do stuff, and we'll have creation kit save all of its files into do stuff. Cool, and we'll run CK. Yeah, I know, select do stuff. All right, all right. Let's do what I normally like to do with my scripting projects. We will make a spell that when we cast it, it'll run a script, and we'll make a quest initialization script. In our case, we'll make two of them because we're going to use one of them for our SkyUI mod configuration menu. And I'll make a player script. These three things, a quest script, a player script, and a spell, are just really good to get you up and running with a couple of different things that you can script. When you're playing with scripting, so that's a good setup if you don't already have your own mod that you're working on. So let's start with a spell. Every spell is going to need an effect, as we've seen in the past, so we'll just make that effect first. So we'll just call it like do stuff effect. Magic effect, new do stuff effect, and we'll name it do stuff effect, and it'll be a fire and forget, and we're done. We'll go to do stuff, and we'll just add a script to it. Do stuff effect script. Cool. Done with that. Let's add the spell that will have the effect associated with it so that we can add it to our player really easily. Do stuff spell. Do stuff spell. It's a fire and forget, and it has an effect which is do stuff effect. And we're done. Now we'll head on over to character and we'll make that quest. Close all these other thingamajiggers. Do stuff quest. Remember, close and reopen the quest. Let's go ahead and make these quest scripts first. Let's just say do stuff quest script. And then I'm going to kind of cheat and I'm going to name one something that I know we're going to want. I'm going to call it do stuff MCM for mod configuration menu. It's just super common convention. And we will make a player alias under quest player ref. We've done this in most of our episodes before, so I'm not kind of pausing a whole lot for you. This extends reference alias, and we'll call it do stuff player script. And wait for that to close, and we'll add an alias spell, which is our existing spell, do stuff spell. So the player will start the game with that spell. Speaking of spell, maybe we'll give the spell a reference to the quest and the player scripts. That was useful in our last episode. So I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to save everything. I should have saved things first. I always like to do that first in case CK crashes. But let's turn this mod into a Papyrus project. We'll just go to VS Code, open up the little scroll, go to the 3 dots, generate the project files, scroll to our project called do stuff, select the folder, go to our little mod explorer and open it up. And I'm going to give the magical effect, there we go, come on, zoom. I think I broke my setting. Cool, I changed my VS Code settings manually between the episodes to set up Vim. And I broke it. So we're going to add 2 properties, one property for the player script and one property for the quest script, just so that our spell can get access to them if we want to. So we'll do do stuff player script property player script auto, and then we'll do stuff quest script property quest script auto, save, and Control-Shift-B to build. No, I didn't mean to open the settings. Cool, and we can see that it builds cleanly. Just hit enter. Back in CK, let's search all for do stuff, and let's give our effect, let's hook it up, hook those properties up. So we'll go to properties, and we can't autofill these because they're names, but we'll just go to player script, edit, go to our do stuff, and grab our alias. And then for the quest script, we will just go do stuff quest. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, save, and we're done with CK, at least for now. Boop. Okay, let's print to the console. Let's use ConsoleUtil. Look for ConsoleUtil SSE. PapyrusUtil can do this as well, but whatever. ConsoleUtil can also execute commands. So maybe we will come here. Maybe we will run console command. Most things you can do with console command you can do with regular Papyrus code, but It's cool to be able to run a console command. It's also useful if you want to make a mod and allow people to type in some console commands that maybe you execute for them at certain periods of time, whatever. So we're going to download this. I'll use mod manager download. We need to make sure we have the address library for SKSE. Let's also just go ahead and in mod organizer 2 turn on SKSE so that we don't forget that. And while we're at it, we'll turn on the Papyrus debug extension. And while we're at it, let's turn on the .NET script framework in case it's CTDs. We'll get a good error message. So there's the cheeking, and we'll mod manager download this, the address library. We'll look at that at some point when I have an opportunity to make an SKSE plugin. I can't wait. I can't promise I'll have time to get to those episodes, but that's my goal. My C++ is not so good, so I want to learn it, and I want to use modding to learn C++. I'm gonna make sure we turn on our do stuff. Go to our downloads. Here's the, it just says all-in-one, but it's the address library. And here's ConsoleUtil. I'm just going to call this ConsoleUtil because I might want to, for mods that include the source code for the scripts, that's the path that we're going to import for each one of these mods. I like to give these mods short, easy to remember names, like just ConsoleUtil, so it's easier to import. We'll turn both of these on. Let's go into ConsoleUtil and see what it comes with. So I'm going to right click and open it up in Explorer. We get scripts, which is good. Ooh, we don't get a PSC, which is not so good. Womp, 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 womp. So we could decompile this ourselves. We're not installing the decompiler tool, not supposed to, until next episode when we install all of our mod authoring tools. Like I've left this that episode for last, almost last. I think, right? Yep, that comes next. So let's see if we can find ConsoleUtil.psc. I know we can, so I'm just going to cheat and I'm going to download this file. I'm going to hit raw. And so now we have this ConsoleUtil source code file. Some of these will be easier than others. PapyrusUtil, we don't need to do this nonsense. I don't think. So what we want is we need a directory where we're going to put this file so our code can require it in order to call ConsoleUtil. So I'm going into my Skyrim directory and I have mods here. I'm going to make a new folder and I'm going to call it include. It might be easier for me to call this imports to make this easier for everyone to remember. I'll call it imports because I think that's more consistent because these are imports. I'll make a new folder and I'll just call it ConsoleUtil. Don't worry, the next one, PapyrusUtil, it's going to be a lot easier. Maybe we'll do that before SkyUI. So I'm just going to make a new file called ConsoleUtil.psc, open it up, and I'm going to paste in what we found on the interwebs. So we found that when we open up this mod, it had an SKSE plugin. This is where the C++ code is. Essentially, it compiles down to this native binary for running in Skyrim. And the Papyrus interface part of it is compiled into this PEX file called ConsoleUtil.pex. So I just searched the internet for ConsoleUtil.psc to see if the source code was out there, and it was on GitHub. That's kind of what we did. We went to imports, ConsoleUtil, and now we'll open it up and just look at it. You can call ConsoleUtil, they're all global functions, they're all native. That means that they're coming from the SKSE plugin. That's why they have no function bodies. You don't see any end function because the actual function is implemented in C++ and it's compiled down to that DLL file. So you can call ConsoleUtil.execute command. You know how in the command, I don't know if you've ever used this, you can click and select a reference, get a reference to a door to unlock it, or a reference to your player. You can get the selected reference, which is cool. Set the selected reference, cool. Read the last message, print into the console. print a message to the console and just get the version of I think this plugin. So let's go to our project. So just head over to Explore, Workspace, Do Stuff. Looks like we're already there. I'll close this. Save. I don't remember if I did anything to it. And when our spell gets cast, let's print something to the console. So we'll do like we've done before, event on effect start. And again, if you forget this, just go to creationkit.com, click on the left for Skyrim, click on scripting reference, and scroll down until you see events in subcategories, and then you can find all the event listings, and on effect start and finish are there. It takes an actor, which is the target of the spell, if there is any, actor, which is the caster. So we want in here to call ConsoleUtil, but we haven't imported it. So we're going to go over to our PBJ Papyrus project file. And here, if you look in variables, it has it actually has a place for you to put your imports folder if you want to, so that you can use variables here. We'll just keep things simple. We'll uncomment this. This is for SKSE, but we'll just make this ConsoleUtil. So we've got import, close import, and inside we just put the path to the folder with Papyrus source code files so that we can import them. So we're going to do the path to ConsoleUtil right here. It doesn't have to be in a scripts source directory or anything like that. It's just a raw PSC file that we downloaded from the internet. Cool, save. Now if we go over here and wait a second, we should be able to see ConsoleUtil. I'm impatient, so I close and open up code. And now if we type console.u, we can get our completion. Dot, and here's all the things. So let's print a message. Hello, console. Save, build. Let's kick off Skyrim. ConsoleUtil, as a reminder, did require SKSE and the address library for SKSE, so we need to run it with SKSE. See if my tea is cool enough to drink yet. Again, sorry to miss misophonia, folks. I've got it pretty bad myself, but I need tea. Sorry, I need to stay hydrated so that I can finish the screencast series. I want to finish it. I want to finish it today so I can make more screencasts. I want to make screencasts that make cool, ridiculous mods. Let's go to Riverwood. It's one of the easiest places to just go to real quick. We probably can't cast our spell. It won't show up in the spell list because we didn't choose a I think they call it delivery magic or whatever. In D&D, it would be a school of magic. So let's open this up. Select do stuff is active. I can drink my tea again. We're going to go to the effect and give it a type of magic. It's too fast when you have the Skyrim Creation Kit fixes installed. It loads so fast. So do stuff. Here's your stuff. Go to the effect and choose magic skill, and we'll make it whatever, alteration. Save, save, done with CK. And SKSE. Spell should be in our spell list now. Alteration, do stuff spell. Let's look at the console. Now let's do our spell. Now let's look at the console. Hello console. Let's do it again. Hello console. Let's do it again. Hello console. Ta-da! We printed to the console. Hooray! Tick. I'll even get an adorable. Let's grab a little check mark. Boop. Boop. Cool. We can execute a console command if we want to. I don't know. Let's we'll toggle free camera. I don't know. We could toggle God mode. We could teleport. We'll teleport. So instead of print message, we'll say execute command, and we'll COC to Riften, B, and Barb. Save, pile. This is called do stuff effect script, so that's what we'll reload in the game. Reload script, do stuff effect script, and we'll cast. Ta-da! Cool. They're talking a lot, so it's annoying. So I'll COC back to Riverwood. Cool. Whoops. Check. Collecting text from the user is pretty cool. These Papyrus Utils things are pretty easy. SkyUI is kind of a not as trivial, so let's do it here. You want to make a UI menu pop up? I do. Let's head on over to UIExtensions, and hopefully this one has the code included in the thingy. When we do packaging in 2 episodes, next episode is mod anatomy, and then the following episode is packaging, and then we close out the series. In packaging, I'll show you how you can package up your mods so that the PSC script source code is part of the package and it's not put into the BSA, so that it's easier for other modders to use your scripts. That's if you want to package up your scripts so that other modders can call them, which kind of you generally should, because you never know what people are going to want to use your mod for. Let's go to UIExtensions, and looks like this is UIExtensions for SSE. Download. Mod manager download. It says adds various menus to be used as resources for modders. It gives a really small example here. The docs kind of suck. The docs for lots of mods leave something to be desired, but that's true of code in general. It's nothing specific to so it's called UIExtensions. Nothing specific to Skyrim. I'll check it to keep it turned on. Right click, open and explore. Let's see if the scripts are there. Oh no, they're not there because they used a BSA. Oh no. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to make a I'm gonna put imports on the side here. We're going to make an imports folder. We're gonna call it UIExtensions. Man, I can't believe a mod like UIExtensions would do this. I'm going to download the Bethesda archive extractor. I'm going to download it again in the next episode and show you how to associate with BSA files. But I want it for right now. BAE SSE, so that I can extract that BSA just once, or however many times in this episode we need to open up BSA archives. Download, save file. I'm not even going to put it in the tools folder. I'm just going to extract it here and run it once. We'll run BAE, go to our mods. This is where UIExtensions is, and we'll just drag and drop the BSA over, and inside we can see the scripts. Ta-da! And we can see the Swift files, the Flash files for the actual UI, which is pretty cool. As the script source, which is what we want. So let's uncheck everything except we'll check script source, and we'll extract this to imports UIExtensions. Boop, 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 boop. Here, there's a script source. We can keep that format or whatever, or we could just move these into UIExtensions and grab this path. Back on over to our PPJ file. can always Control P and it opens up that cute little quick finder. I'm going to copy this and I'm just going to make a new import. It doesn't matter what order these come in, just put everything on over the main Skyrim Special Edition so it overrides. Save build. We didn't really need to build yet. We want to go here and look for UIExtensions, and it doesn't show up because, oh, there goes extensions. It's not capitalized, which bothers me, but here's all the things you can do. Now the way that they did it is you get a menu of a certain name, and then you like set properties on it, and then you show that menu. And it doesn't use menus as objects. Pros and cons to this, but let's just use what they show. Now for some of these menus, you need race menu installed. That's just for if you want the dye menu or the cosmetic one. But we want the, I like the list menu, this one, and I like the one that prompts us for text, and I like the wheel. The wheel is fun. So let's just copy the mod author's example into our code. Paste. This apparently will make a wheel menu with some stuff. Let's just run it. This is their example code. Let's see if it builds. Variable UI is undefined. Where exactly is that coming from? Oh, the UIExtensions isn't building because we need SKSE. If you go on over to creationkit.com, yes, I'm from the South, legit. UI script. There's a UI script that requires SKSE, so let's go to SKSE, which is just in our mods list. SKSE did provide the source scripts, so we've got this folder, and we'll add this folder to our PPJ. Ta-da! Close, reopen. I'm just going to save and build. Now compiles. Allows to run our game. Boop. Sorry, that drinking's so loud. I'm thirsty. Spell. Beep, boop, boop. If you can hear those car horns honking. Hey, look, it's a thingy. We can't select it, apparently, but it's a thing. It's a thingy. Woo! Why can't we select it? I know why we can't select it, but I'm asking you. What we're going to do is we're going to head on over to the imports UIExtensions, and what I'm going to do is right-click Open with Code. So if when you installed Visual Studio Code, you included the Open with Code option, and if you didn't include it, search the interwebs. There might be a way to add it after the fact. This is great because it'll open the folder. You get a separate instance because that's a workspace over there, so it doesn't crowd our other app, and you can poke around and see all of their PSC files. It's a big truck. So we can do things like go into the wheel menu, and usually you'll hop into other people's code. You're going to be like, whoa, I don't understand what any of this does, and that's fine, but you just start looking around. Start Start looking around. Now our code, which we copied and pasted, set the option text and option label text. Here's option text, here's option label text. Apparently you can set an icon. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can set text and icon colors. There's also a thing called option enabled. You apparently set property index bool. Let's try it. UIExtensions dot set menu property index bool. I'm just kind of guessing based on what's there. It says set menu property index string, and we saw that this one's a bool. So I'm just copying and pasting what's there. Apparently you do UI wheel menu, comma, property name. So we want this option enabled. And then index, I think, is the index of the wheel option. Boop. You can set text and stuff for every one of those. And you can, what do we do then? I think we just say true. If you hover over it, you can see menu name, property name, the index, the value. It's pretty useful. Instead of tracing, let's message box. Those cars outside are wicked annoying. We called this do stuff effect script. Hey, look, you can click on it. Ooh, option 0 selected. What if we do this? Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. Just set all the 0s to 1s. Yeah. And we'll call this option 1. Or we'll just call it another option. I don't know what the difference is between the label and the text, so we'll just say label and we'll say text, and maybe we'll find out. Control Shift B, close, reload, cast. Hey look, we got this. Oh, see where it says text and it says label, so the label is up here and the text is what it shows down there. Cool, and if we click it, option 1 selected, we'll cast. Option 0 selected, woohoo! Now, unfortunately, if you go to the website, this is legit the only example that's there. So one of the best things you can do is go to requirements. We don't care about the fact that this requires SKSE. What we care about is other mods that require UI extensions. That means we can scroll through this list and all of these mods should use UI extensions somewhere. Add item menu, incredibly popular mod. Alternate perspective, a couple of really popular mods in here. And we could go to add item menu. Just download it manually because we don't actually want to install this. It requires UI extensions. Save it. Extract it. Open it. Scripts. Oh, it doesn't have the source for the scripts, you jerks. No, it does. It's in a different folder. Sorry, I take it back. Right click, open with code. And now you can just file or edit, where is it? Find in files. UI extensions. And let's make it not case sensitive. I think by default it isn't. Hit enter. Come on, it requires UI extensions. It's got to use it somewhere. Maybe it calls it from a C++. Can you even do that? I don't know, let's search for like list. Now find in files. And get menu, get items, all kinds of stuff. Open custom menu, list menu. They must do something to like override the UI extension. So that's not a good example of something that's useful. Idle animations. There's the NPC replacer. Project Proteus uses the wheel. Whatever. Let's read the code. What I want to do is I want to use this list menu. So this one is called UI list menu. So we'll comment out our code here for the wheel. And let's basically copy it again. UIExtensions.init menu, UI text menu, UI list menu. But let's make the text thingy, text entry pop up first. That one's super useful. Everyone should use that. I don't know if there's a better built into Bethesda way of getting something like this. Apparently you say open menu. You don't see any properties on it. What happens if we just say UI extensions dot, and like you're doing down here, open menu, UI text entry menu. Now let's see if there's anything else useful. I happen to know that there is. I'm going to search for like string. Get menu result string. Cool. String enter text equals, and you have the menu name, so I guess UI text entry menu, and then we'll debug message box. You entered, and the entered text. See if it works. Compiles, which is good. More trucks outside. Loud truck. You entered hello world. Da 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 da. Now your mod can handle simple text entry. Woohoo! Da 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 da. Let's see what happens if you cancel. Tab. You entered nothing. Cool. So I guess that's the same as if you just hit enter. Oh, you can't hit enter unless you type something. So what happens if I escape? Nope, you have to hit tab or enter. Cool. All right, your keyboard shortcuts, you might need to be careful and check to see if a menu is open or if a text entry is open. Because when you type in that thing, if you register keyboard shortcuts for the various keys, then when someone types, you might actually accidentally trigger your keyboard shortcuts. So when you make keyboard shortcuts in your mod, use UI is menu open, and if is menu open, then don't have your keyboard shortcut do anything. So let's do that list menu. Even though we're kind of done with UI extensions and I should show you other stuff, kind of want to do that list menu just so it's recorded somewhere. Cool, so that's text entry. Let's do the list one. This one is called list menu. And on the website, it says, if we went to the website for UI extensions, it specifically says that the list menu is difficult to use. It's difficult to use if you use it in a certain way, if you set up these like child relationships where you can click and then get all these submenus, we're not going to do that, and you don't need to do it. It's really easy to use if you use it the right way. So that's what I'm going to show you. So instead of text entry, UI extensions, init menu, UI list menu. Let's see, set property string A, add entry item. But you need to get an instance of the UI list menu. Let's go to UI extensions. Here's a get menu, open menu. Where's init menu? I think I saw it down there. These are slower than directly referencing, but whatever. So you can say get menu menu name, and it'll give you, you can do get menu menu name and get the reference to the list menu so that you can call add entry item on it. So all we do is this. Ain't too bad, I promise. We do UI menu base list menu equals UI extensions dot open menu, or is it get menu UI list menu. And we don't want to, sure, we'll reset it. Reset meaning like whether or not it adds new items. Ooh, if there's leaf blowers, I have to cancel. Oh, I have to pause. I have to pause until these fucking leaf blowers are done. Leaf blowers are the bane of my screencasting existence. Legit. List menu dot add. What was it called? List menu extends UI menu base. So we do this. Fucking leaf blowers. We can paste, we'll get a UI list menu. And we'll say, yeah, UI list menu equals that as UI list menu. Now we get add entry item, item 1. And you can do all these extra options like give parents and children, but you don't have to do any of that nonsense. I want to show you this before I close the screencast for a minute and wait for these leaf blowers to finish up. Now, list menu, can you show menu? Let's just try what we've been doing. Int option selected equals UI extensions dot show. Isn't it show? Open menu, UI list menu. And let's see what gets selected. Debug, message box, you selected item number and option selected. It does look like these return ints, so it'll tell you potentially what the option number is so that you'll have to do some mapping, but I think hopefully this will just be 0, 1, and 2 or 1, 2, 3. Save, compile. Let's do option 2. You selected 0. Ooh, bummer. Option 3, you selected 0. Looks like we have to do something else to get the chosen option. So let's show the menu. Fucking leaf blowers. And then let's do UI extensions dot get menu result int for UI list menu. Option selected equals. Let's try that one. We used that before when we got the string. So in this case, it's just an integer, which number you selected. Build. Let's try number 3. Haha, you selected number 2. You selected number 1 or 0. You selected number 1. What happens if you piece out of the menu with escape? You selected -1, so you can tell if someone canceled and pieced out of it. Love it, right? Not so bad. May seem pretty bad if you haven't read a lot of Papyrus source code, but I have really good news for you. If I close this screen, I just uncomment all this so you get the colors. Text entry, wheel menu, list menu. Take a screenshot. Now you're good. You can use any of these 3. Okay, I'm gonna take a break and have some tea. I hear sirens and the leaf blowers I think are about to come around the corner. So peace. I'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And I'm back. Man, oh man, those leaf blowers sure did get those leaves. They got them good. I still hear it going, but I don't think you'll be able to. So, all right, we're done with this for now, and I'm just going to get rid of this. Cool. Let's go to our list. I did add one thing to our list, which is important, and I added kind of some helpers to the PapyrusUtil section, which we will get to. We did this, collecting the text from the user. If you poke around wheel some more, I'll probably do a UIExtensions. Excuse me. Okay, I know how to drink water, I swear. We'll probably do a UIExtensions screencast at some point, maybe. Definitely a PapyrusUtil one, maybe. Yeah, I want folks to be able to find and search those more easily than just finding this massive screencast that you're watching right now, which is part of this learning series. Tons of things from this 12-episode learning series. I'm going to make little episodes for them. So let's use PapyrusUtil, which is maybe what you'll use most of all. That and SkyUI. These are the 2 extensions or mods or whatever libraries that you are most likely to use in your modding experience. So, how are we doing? Almost 15 minutes? Well, we've gone through a lot. Let's go to PapyrusUtil. Boop, 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 boop. Needs SKSE. No other requirements. I don't think it needs the address library. Oh, the game is running and we want to install it. So we'll go to here. I'm just going to call it PapyrusUtil so that will be the folder name. So if we import stuff from this folder, it'll be a nice simple import path. And I'm going to turn it on. And hopefully PapyrusUtil is, I think they were good mod citizens and they provided a script source directory exactly where you would expect to find it. So let's import it. There's a bunch of stuff in here that we'll take a little look-see at. I can close the UI thingy. Let's go here. Let's go to our PPJ. And we'll add another import. Yet another. Cool, PapyrusUtil. I'm going to close this and reopen it because that's what I do. So that now we could go and PapyrusUtil has a couple of these utilities. So if I go to like MISC-util, now it'll autocomplete and I can see all the things that are on MISC-util. Oh, I didn't even realize that it had execute bat. Oh, that's dope. Oh, I'm super gonna maybe use that. I'm going to use that. I want to make an extension that makes reloading scripts slightly easier. Reload scripts, not that bad. Read from file, print console, see if a file exists, get all the files in a folder and all the folders in a folder. It's pretty cool. What does set menus do? Set HUD on off. Not currently working in special edition. Okay. Fine then. Good to know. Toggle free camera. Let's write to a file and read from a file. I think that's what I said we would do first. So let's do this. Let's say that as our player walks around, we're just going to write down everything that we pick up. Everything that we pick up in the game. So let's go to our player script. And if you look for events on creationkit.com, one of the events you'll find is on item added. And so event on item added, and it's whenever the player picks up an item. You can attach it to any container. And what you get is the form, which is the item, the base item. You get the count of the items. You get an object reference for the item reference itself, if there is one. Like if it's a specific object in the world, I think you'll get a reference to it. And you get an object reference to the container. And so I can just show you it working, and we'll say you picked up count item. Item will just give you the form ID, but if we say item get name, we'll see the name. Save, build, run. Check my phone because I feel like it just went buzz, buzz. No, it didn't. Phantom buzz. When your player gets created by COC, they get automatically added some items. So that triggers the on item added for just like the armor. It doesn't trigger when you equip it. That's a different event. But if I drop my shield and pick it up, yeah, you picked it up. Now let's save, log everything that we pick up to a file. So instead of debug message box, let's it's on miscutil dot write to file, and what you give it is a file name. Now that's going to be relative to your Skyrim Special Edition directory. Let's say do stuff / items picked up.txt, and then you give it the text, and you say whether or not you're appending, which by default is true. And then timestamp. I guess you can change the timestamp. I don't know. So here's the text that we want. Except if we just add that text, it's going to keep pushing the text next to one another. I want a new line in that file, a line break if you will. So I do this. If I made it easier for y'all to read at home, it would look a little bit something like this. It would look like string file name. And I would actually make this a field, and I'd say string text equals and I put this up here. Good, you might use it in a couple places. I might call it file name. Whatever. There's only so many conventions. Save, build. I don't know if it'll make a folder. I hope it'll make a folder. It might blow up and be like, hey, there's no folder called do stuff. We'll find out. So what we're going to do is we're going to our Skyrim Special Edition folder right here. And then we are going to reload the script. What is it called again? This one is the player script. So do stuff player script. Keep that open. Do stuff player script. And now let's drop something and we'll pick it up. Drop a couple things. Let's pick up the Potion of the Warrior. I was hoping that a do stuff folder would show up over here. Let me refresh the folder. Go into data. No. Let's do our Papyrus logs. We did run with SKSC, right? Yeah. Cool, 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 cool. This returns an integer, or a boolean rather, for whether it worked. Bool did it work equals, let's say, debug.messagebox wrote to file question mark, and did it work? And we'll no longer print out our own thing. We just want to write to file. Oh, was this wrong the whole time? Oh, no, never mind, we're good. Oh, it was doing a debug message box. Our script couldn't possibly have been up to date. Does this break when I compile it or something? We couldn't possibly have been doing this correctly. Player script. Because it was showing that debug menu, and we got rid of that debug menu. You picked up one. It's not reloading our script. Do stuff player script. Not reloading our script. Pourquoi? No idea why it's not loading our script. Spam email. Wrote to file false, 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 false. It's fair because I don't see a folder. Let's get rid of, first of all, let's add a Windows style slash. Instead of a Linux style slash. Let's see if that matters. You might need to create the directory first if it allows you to make directories. No, it doesn't have anything for that. I figure it would automatically do it for you. Change the menu or something so it we're not doing do stuff spell, we're doing this. Just want to make sure that's working. Our script, it's not working. We can't reload it. I don't know if it's because the event is already bound and we can't like undo it and re-listen to it. Reload, you dick. Well, Why? Why no work? Well, it's going to pop up here because we get the items added to us immediately. Change, change, changed. That slash didn't seem to matter. Let's do the last thing that I want to try. Go to U. File name, items picked up. So we'll call write to file, items picked up. So there's no slash in it. So let's try that. We can probably read from files that have slashes in them, but it might not make the folder for us. So it'll fail because there's no folder to put that file in. Let's see if these say true. True. Now let's go to here. In our top level folder, we see items picked up, and it already has all of the 4 of them. Because the code is already run, those message boxes don't stop that from running, it looks like. So it has those 4 items, and we can pick up other stuff, and it'll just kind of log everything we pick up in the game. Looks like I forgot to add a space, but whatever. Here, I don't want that X, go AX. Cool, and we wrote to a file. Whoops, whoops. My guess is if we create a file called like a folder called, we could put it in data, we could put it wherever, so data, logs, name of our mod, do stuff. So now what you could do is you can include in your mod that people download an empty folder called data logs do stuff. And now my guess is if we do this, you have to add those double slashes. I'm gonna guess, and it could be wrong, that now you can write logs to this. So useful for writing arbitrary logs for whatever you want to do. And let's make sure that you can put it in your own folder, because if it just allows you to save in the Skyrim Special Edition top level directory, that's kind of dumb. Really, you want to save your stuff down in the data folder. See if it shows up. Go to the engine. Go here. Refresh. Is that true? It said true, so it said I wrote them. Let's look for items picked up. Let's peace out. We be learning. I'm going to try this as one final hurrah, if you will. Or whatever you would say. Did it work this time? Save, build, so we can see that change. Run. Oh, it probably put it in our overwrite file, in our overwrite directory, because we're using mod organizer too. Because we put it in data. So let's go to overwrite. Logs, do stuff, items picked up. It's right there. that make sense to you? Anything that gets written by the game goes here. So let's do CSC Riverwood. That should get 4 more items added to it. Cool. And if we could do a whatever, some potions or something stupid, and pick a bunch of stuff up, and go over here. We see we picked up some potions, and you could use it to log stuff to a file if you want to. And if we wanted to read this and put it into a message box, all right, fine then, Mr. Man. We could go to our spell, go to our effect spell, and say on effect start, misUtil, read from file. You could actually make this a property. I think if you say auto read only, then you can set its value. And then if we go to here, read from file, get the string file name. So we'll say string file content equals read from file. Let's read from that player script the file name. That should compile. It's a property. Compilation failed. New viable something and auto read only. Does it go afterwards? Build. Yeah, apparently it goes afterwards. Cool. Let's cast our spell. It's called do stuff effects script. Put away that stupid axe. Oh, and we're not having it do anything with that, so we'll have it print out debug.messageBox file content. Let's see why it's upset. It shouldn't be upset. Now, that's lame. That's super lame. Super lame. That was going to be a good time to move on to other PapyrusUtil thingamajiggers. We're learning lots of stuff. It's all kind of squished into one episode. There we go. Cool. And if we go to that file in the file system, let's get rid of a bunch of this and just say hello, period, save. Go back to the game, cast it, it says hello. We'll drop a shield or something, and then we'll drop a sword. We'll get the sword, and we'll cast our spell. And it says 1 iron sword. Our hello didn't have a new line after it. Cool. We be reading, we be writing, we be reading and writing from files, reading and writing from files, reading and writing from files. PapyrusUtil has so much cool shit, y'all. We've barely touched on, so we looked at some misUtil. Let me open up Papyrus Extensions. Open this up in code again. So, is there anything on ActorUtil? Oh, package overrides. Those are cool. We won't touch on that. How about ObjectUtil? Anything useful? I think this stuff, it says it's this stuff doesn't work in SE. What's in PapyrusUtil? Ooh, this is nice random stuff. We worked on arrays and stuff last episode. Ooh, this is nice. You can sort an array. String join, string split. That's already included in SKSE. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff in here. What's that one? Merge a Boolean array with another Boolean array. Cool, merge arrays. Cool, no, we don't use this. The most important things for you are misUtil, read-write files. You're mostly just going to use StorageUtil or JSONUtil. StorageUtil and JSONUtil are basically the same. And the JSON stuff used to be in StorageUtil. So here I'm going to put on screen the, come on, Control Shift B. Let me fix my Vim settings. Cool, might be. You can read this, you can pause. It specifically says saving MCM config values here would allow other mods to change your mod settings. What StorageUtil does is it allows you to store arbitrary, let me show you the value types. It allows you to store integers, floats, strings, and forms either globally with just some key. So you can say like mine, and can you do a list of them too? Where's the list? You can do lists of them as well. You can just like globally configure a list of forms. Like we dealt with forms in the last episode. We got a form for an iron dagger and one for a crimson nirnroot and one for charred skeever meat. You could configure a list of forms for your mod. And two important things. One, it's easy to configure. It'll stay around forever. You can change it. You can hook it up to your mod configuration menu to let your users change it. And if you do it globally, other mods can read those settings so that they can integrate with your mod better. And they can even change those settings on behalf of the user. So it's great for mod integration. This is called StorageUtil in PapyrusUtil. And it's where you should generally be saving your mod configuration menu. Is the truck backing up? I'm just not having good city luck today. It's generally a recommended place to store your mod configuration menu values. You don't have to. And because it adds a dependency on PapyrusUtil. And on the one hand, you don't want your mods to have a lot of dependencies. On the other hand, it's great, and it's a great way to have lists of arbitrary length, and your config editor can do it. So there's two types. One is StorageUtil. It also allows you to attach arbitrary data to forms such as the player or NPCs. If you want to, as your player walks around, whenever they get near an NPC, mark that NPC with some value, you can do that. You can actually save a value on that form really, really easily with StorageUtil, and then query to see whether or not an NPC that you interact with has that value. I guess we could do that. Yeah, there's a get nearby actors in LibFire we could do that with. It's a bit advanced. There's two versions of this. One is StorageUtil, and the other one is JSONUtil. JSONUtil has the very same API for the most part. You can save ints, floats, strings, and forms, as well as lists of them. But instead of attaching these things to other forms or storing them kind of in memory globally, they get saved into a JSON file. This is great because as a mod author, you can edit a configuration file in your file system, which is JSON. do stuff like add a bunch of form IDs in there, both for Skyrim and maybe form IDs for your mod, or form IDs from other mods. You can put all this into a JSON file, and then your mod can read from it. And if you want to, your players can also write their own JSON files, like configure yours to tweak it. It's good for settings. You can use it for a feature where users can export their settings. You can have it so you write your mod configuration menu code so that there's an export button where folks can export, and what you'll do is you'll save a JSON file. That's what the export is. And then if users have their own JSON files, you can import. That's pretty sweet. And you can use that in combination with like MissUtil to see if files exist, or I think JSONUtil itself may have a JSON exists to see if a JSON file exists, and you could like auto load it. There's all kinds of things you can do. Let me sip my tea and ponder what we should do with StorageUtil and JSONUtil that's quickish, which shows you how to use it. I'll be right back. Okay, so one of the things you can do is if we go around and we start attaching, can we do this? We can collect a full list of forms. We could go around and basically like every actor that we get near, we could add to just some list as a form, have a collection of actors. There's nothing built into Papyrus that will get nearby actors. Normally you'll use a quest alias and you'll like turn it on and turn it off and turn it on and turn it off. There's something, thanks loud car. There's something in LibFire, I think, that will get all the nearby actors. So let's have it so when you walk around, we'll just collect a list of the forms for the actors, and then you'll cast a spell and we'll print out everyone so far that we've added to the list. Kind of useful, I don't know. I just want to use this in some way. So I've deleted what our effect and player do. Let's grab LibFire. Kind of wanted to make everyone glow around us, and that's possible, but we wouldn't really be using StorageUtil, so it's not that useful. Let's download LibFire. We've already got the address library, which is good. LibFire install. Let's just call it LibFire, which is a great name. Turn it on. Go to the folder and explore. Scripts, source. Thank you, person, for including the source. Let's add this as an import. Because I think when I was researching for this episode, I saw that it's, we do want StorageUtil still up. Here's Papyrus. Let's open up this in code, and let's go to Fire and open up it with code. I think I saw like nearby, find nearby actors within a certain radius. So cool. Let's just walk around, and every second or something we'll find nearby actors. So here we go. When we initialize our player, we'll call some function called like start searching. Make a function called start searching for actors. Because onInit only runs once, and we can't use reload script for that. What we could do is have, when we run our spell, have it kick off this function so that it'll start searching again. It's kind of a, I was going to say hack, but not really. So this is going to register for update every 3 seconds. Let's do like 5. 1, 2, how about 3? And function on, or event on update. We'll say debug.notification, or let's use, we can do it more frequently, but we'll use traces. Those notifications in the top left show up and they take a couple seconds to disappear. That's why I was thinking let's not do this very often, but let's just say debug.trace starting to search for actors, searching for actors. And my guess is this called LibFire dot, just type nearby, so it says find nearby actors. Cool. Origin, so let's do the current player, so that's do stuff player script dot get object reference, or get actor reference. That's us because we're in the reference alias, so get actor reference is the player. Comma radius. So let's have to get up close to them. Let's say like 200 units. And if actors dot length, come on, make it big, greater than 0, debug dot trace found actors, and let's add these to the full list. So StorageUtil, I think, allows you to add a list of things to a list of things. You can insert, but is there like an insert many? Add to a list. Let's look for form array. Oh, my form array isn't searching because it's a regex. So you can slice, fills the given input array with the values of the list, and form or globally will fill the array until either the array or list runs out of valid indexes. So the object key will be none, the key name will be actors we found, the slice will be stuff we found. Let's see if you can do this in an easier way. Doesn't seem like it. Let's just loop through and use the add function. You can push onto the end, which I think is the same as add. Form list add. So here's an example. You can add stuff to an individual form, or you can add it to none, which makes it global. So in index, while index is less than actors.length, and while index at equals 1, we will do StorageUtil dot form list add to none, key name. Let's do that'll be our key name, comma, and I think we add a form next, form value, and then whether or not we allow duplicates, we can say false. Actors index allow duplicates equals false. I think that's what it was. Duplicate equals false. Cool, so now we go around and we add stuff to this global in-memory list thingy, which we could just put here, but StorageUtil is a cool place to put it for your configuration settings so that other mods can integrate with it, and we're just trying this out. We could use JSON util instead and be saving this stuff to a JSON file, which would be kind of cool, and maybe we'll swap it out in a minute. So now when you cast the spell, we want to get a full array of everything in that key. So we want to share this key, so we'll make it a property. It's only set once. So let's do, we can ask the player script for all of its found actors. Actor array, which will really be a form array once we convert it. Let's not make that stuff. Let's say found actors equals storage util dot form array, form list to array. The key is the main key is none, and then we use do stuff player script dot, come on, found actors key. I hate that that sometimes doesn't autocomplete. I bet if I closed and opened up again it would. Cool. The fuck does that mean? Save build. None is not a known user something type. Undefined. Oh, it's called player script. Might be. Debug.message box. Let's build up a string that says message equals we have found and found actors dot length and actors thus far and a new line. Can't be called message. It has to be called text because there is a form called message. And we'll say in index equals 0. You can just say an index, but let's say equals 0 for clarity. While index is less than found actors dot length, and while index at equals 1, spell length correctly. Text equals the existing text plus, let's get the name of this form. And add a new line, and we'll debug message box. The text, save. Now start searching. Cool. Might work. I don't fucking know. I have no fucking clue, y'all. Sorry for cursing. I want this to be family friendly. So let's start, let's connect to the debugger so we can start seeing those trace messages. View debug console. Make it kind of small, like this. So we should start to see that it's going to start searching for actors, searching for actors, searching for actors. Now let's get real close, right up to someone. Found actors. Cool. Now let's back up and let's try our spell. Don't crash. Found one actor thus far. Cool, it doesn't have their name. We can fix that. Found actors. 3 actors thus far. I think the cheek-in counts. It's kind of risky because the base object could be none, I think. Why isn't that doable? Get base. Cool. Let's say actor, the actor equals found actor's index as actor. And we will add the actor.getBaseObject.getName, because we're looking at the instances of the peoples. But the instance of Bob does not have the name of Bob. The template, the base object that defines Bob, really truly defines Bob as who he is. That's where his name lives. Go. Let's get our spell up and ready. Found an actor, cast our spell. Hilda, let's get near the chicken. Found actors. Chicken. Cool. So, I mean, there's nothing super special here because there's nothing keeping us from storing all of this stuff in our own array except this is an array of arbitrary length. And if we did this ourselves, we would have to make a form array and give it a size. And there's maybe some SKSE helpers that can let you add to an array by saying, here's my existing array, please return a new array that has that in this item. But StorageUtil, I think, doesn't max out at like 256 items or whatever the normal array does. I think it has a different background implementation. Just like J containers. Big truck. Big truck. All I'll do next is I'll change this to add to JSON-util instead. So let's have a file name, string property config or actors, found actors file name equals, and we'll just put it at the top level. We'll just say found actors.txt. And we'll say JSON-util dot, we'll look for form list add, see what it takes. It takes the file name, comma, key name, oh, that's form list to array, excuse me. I want form list add, takes the file name, found actors file name, comma, key name. We can reuse the same key, comma, the value, which is the form, and then whether or not we allow duplicates. Cool. So now we can keep it in StorageUtil for the reading for right now. But let's just look at what the JSON-util looks like on file system. Build, run. Now I don't think it's going to go into overwrite. Yeah, it probably will. The file says where things save. They save an SKSE plugin StorageUtil by default, but you can use ... to move out of that into your own folder up in data, for example. But we will keep overwrite open and look at it over here. So here's just overwrite. let's go and let's find ourselves some actors. What do we do after this? We've done a bunch. Reading and writing. We did UI. Maybe like one other thing I'll show you or something. I'm not even showing the logs. Let's just wait for stuff to show up on the right. Now, I think it will occasionally save, just occasionally. You can call .save to explicitly make it do it. Let's save the game and see if that triggers it. Cool. We did a save game, and that triggered the creation of found actors text JSON. And here's the actors. Here's their form IDs, and here's where they come from. They come from Skyrim ESM. They could come from Dragonborn or Hearthfires or Dawnguard, or they could come from some plugin, some other mod. So here's what it looks like here. We could read from this instead of reading from StorageUtil, but we've spent way more than enough time here. Let's piece out of this. We used LibFire, which I wasn't expecting. Let's close out of a lot of this stuff. And close LibFire. LibFire has a bunch of cool stuff in it. It's worth checking out. And in our codes, we'll just clean everything up. Save, build, and let's piece out of the game while we figure out what to do next. Shared variable, that's StorageUtil. And again, those variables that we saved in StorageUtil, any other mod can access those at the same key. So something to know about: if you don't want that, then probably don't use StorageUtil, except maybe use StorageUtil because you want the arrays that can be any size. But for that, you could use JContainers. Haven't needed to yet, but I really want to. JContainers SE. Let's close everything except my GitHub. Here it says extend Skyrim SE Papyrus scripts with JSON-based serializable data structures like arrays and maps. And it has an embedded Lua interpreter, which I'm sure the author loves, and a couple other folks. A bunch of other folks. So does it have documentation here on the home page? Here's a wiki page. Has a JArray, has a JMap, has a JForm map, which is dope. Things are serializable. Unlike the stock array, JContainers array can store any number of values of any number of types. So you can store integers alongside strings. They can be resized, searched, etc. So here is its API. Here's some examples of how to use it. So because we've got examples, maybe I won't install it and use it. You can make an array and you get a reference integer to it. That makes sense. It's not what I would have thought of, but that makes sense. Cool, so when you make a map or an array, you say, hey, please give me an array, and you get an integer that will always point to it. G-values. Cool. I love that it's got a little database. If you are a coder and you feel like you've been missing having a database just to reference a bunch of stuff, I think this is what we want. I think this is like a NoSQL key value or closer to document store database. So this is what we want as coders who are familiar with like a NoSQL document store. So I won't show it. It's got good docs. Go to JContainers. Apparently this is the fork, and it's probably the most active one. Cool. So I'm just going to say no to JContainers. We actually used LibFire to get nearby actors. We could use Papyrus Extender for something like an event, for example. It has custom events. Let me just look at Papyrus Extender real quick with you to see if it has anything that's worth us looking at. Otherwise, we're just going to show you how to make a SkyUI config menu, because we have to show you how to do that. And then we can bail, and next episode we go through the anatomy of a mod, and then the following episode we do packaging your mod for release. Then we close this out, and then I can record other screencasts about other Skyrim modding things. And I'll probably try and record like a mini series or something on something else while I prep this for release before I put this out there. I'm going to rewatch these and put time codes. I don't want to put time codes. Could you guys put the time codes for me? I don't want to do time codes. So let's go to So it extends script functionality with over 220 new Papyrus functions and 25 events. Because mods can add events using mod event. Boop. 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 We call it Papyrus Extender. Blah. I don't like putting your name in mod names. I don't know. I'm not going to say that it's arrogant because I love these things and I like JK Skyrim. I don't know. I would never do it. Scripts. Oh no, there's no source, but maybe it's in here. Scripts. Source. Okay, this is where they put their stuff. Open in code. So find the PSC files if you have them. If there's no PSC files, then use the Champollion Papyrus decompiler to decompile the PEXs into PSCs, and then just put all those PSCs into your own include folder, and then point your VS Code imports at that. Next episode, we're going to be decompiling Papyrus compiled files using that, because it's one of the like trillions of tools that we're going to install. So debris, lighting, I'm sure that's all super cool. These events on active magical effects, aliases, and forms, these are all like the same, but you can call them, you can call these ones on forms, these ones on active magic effects, these ones as aliases. So you don't say form dot, you say PO3 events form dot register for actor reanimate start, that kind of stuff. Here's a ton of SKC functions. These are all global native functions, so they're all implemented as SKC. Are these ones too? Yeah, they're global native. This is all C++. That one you kick off all of these on PO3 SKSC functions. Oh, these are events. On critical hit, disarmed, on level increase, we could trigger that one. Ooh, on quest start stop, we can trigger that by getting a Crimson Nirnroot, which we recently saw. A skill increase, spell learned, we can give ourselves a spell book. Let's use this and register some events. How's that sound? Because maybe you want, there's also like on location change. I could swear. Oh, on location discovery. So these are good on item harvested. These are really good examples of things that you might want. On book read, right now you can, if you have a script attached to a book, you can know when someone reads it, but right now there's nothing that you can attach to a player to know when they read a book, and it looks like here you can. We already, in our default COC character that we have, there's a book there. So let's just use on book read. So when we boot up our game, well, first, let's get the path to these PSC files. And in our project, let's add them. So we're going to import more things. Of course, we're not using most of this anymore. We can comment it out. I'm going to close and reopen just because that's what I do. Close the workspace. Let's go back to do stuff. Cool. Now we could go to like the quest script, or let's do the player script, and say when the player script initializes, we will register these events. You might need to check for on player load game and re-register them. Try yourself. Events on a alias. We're an alias. Register for book read. Us. We're the alias. I think we just pass us. Does that work? It's not complaining. Can I compile it? Cool. Register for book read, except okay, now that means that this will get book read events. Events on book read, I think is what it said, and you probably get a book. The book. Now we can double check that over here. Where's book? Book. On book read, book. Debug.messagebox. You read the book. And we'll print out the name of the book. Save, build, run. Did we turn it on? We did. Let us read a book. Come on. Oh, dope. Fucking dope. I keep cursing. I don't know if I have to get rid of that for YouTube or not. I'll look it up. Sweet. Sweet. I wonder if it only triggers once for reading a book or if we can do it again. Let's totally close out of the inventory. Reopen it and see if we trigger it again. Looks like it only maybe gets triggered once per book. So there's little gotchas to this. That's cool though, right? That was fast, finally. Cool, let's do your config menu. So to do this, we will install SkyUI for Skyrim Special Edition. Mod manager download, and then we enable it. Install SkyUI, enable it, open it up as always. It has a film mod, it's got stuff in a BSA. We could open up that Bethesda archive extractor one more time that we have in downloads. And let's take a look, see at what's in the BSA. It It has scripts, but it doesn't have the source. It doesn't have the PEX files. They're not being jerks. They, in this case, want you to download their SDK. So what you do is you search for SkyUI SDK, and you'll end up on GitHub, and you download the most recent version. So right now it's 5.1, and you grab it from their Google Drive. Go download, go download, go. My dog says, go download, go download, down. I want to show this audience some stuff. Do. Cool. Did it save? Cool. Allow us to extract it somewhere. Extract to SkyUI SDK, and I'm just going to drag this one straight into my imports folder. Has some examples, but it's got scripts with the source, and these are the two things we want the source file for, particularly config base. We're going to copy this. I don't need you anymore. We want our PPJ. Shoo. So here's the SkyUI SDK script source directory. I close and open because that's what I do. Now, I made this MCM thingy. It should be a quest script, and I'm going to replace quest with sky config base. Got it? Sky. And now we're not going to do an event on init. Instead, we're going to do event on config init. And for the SkyUI SDK, the SkyUI SDK page has SkyUI SDK documentation. Here's the quick start guide. Here's the API reference. Here's state options, errors, all kinds of stuff. For state options, it walks you through the fact that the 2.0 version of MCM menus uses states. So if when you're reading other people's mod configuration menus to try and figure out how to use yours, which you may think is bonkers and there's no way you would be doing that, you will do that, I promise. You'll read other people's MCM menus for all kinds of reasons, to figure out how they do stuff, whatever. You'll find that this is the old way of doing things, so you may find this style without states in their code. Just FYI. The new style uses states, and I think it's a lot nicer. So maybe we'll add one option. We'll just copy and paste this. So if we go to the quick start, it says you just do this, and then you can customize your thing in Creation Kit if you want to. So there's two properties by default. Let me compile this. And let's open up CK, because a lot of people want to configure this through CK. So we'll open up do stuff. Ooh, T. How are we doing? All right, we're gonna hit just past 2 hours, which, considering all the amount of stuff, ain't too shabby. All right, do stuff. Let's go to the quest scripts MCM, and I just compiled, and all I did was I made my my script extend SKI base config base, sky config base, cheapers creepers I can read. And now if you go to properties, let's recompile it. compilation failed. Are you sure you want to save? No. Unable to locate script sky config base. I'm not surprised that the creation kit can't find it, but it shouldn't need to. Alright, there's a couple ways we could fix this. We could temporarily push the SDK files, probably with Vortex, down into the data directory. There's a couple ways that we could do this. We could make this the SDK into a mod using mod organizer 2. So like we could do this, create empty mod, SkyUI. Here I was going to say SDK, but let's just move this into the different folder. I'm going to move the SkyUI 5.1 SDK into the mods folder. And I'm going to refresh. I'm going to check it. And that will mean that the data directory will now be able to see scripts, source, sky config base. And now if we run it like this, let's see if this was the problem. If it like wanted to compile that script or something, which it shouldn't need to. I don't think that's the problem. So far, like, we never need Creation Kit to compile our stuff. We got it. We compile our own stuff. And Creation Kit should only look at the PEX file unless it's performing a compilation. So I think it's something else. I might just remove and recreate that script. Edit source. Compile. Now compiles because it can see the sky config base. Get its properties. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So you can configure the name of your mod configuration page and its list of pages here in the properties window. So you can just say like edit value, give it a string, and pages, you can give it a list of pages. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to uncheck this, and then I'm even going to put it back in that include folder. Imports rather. You go back to imports. That's where you belong. Refresh. Cool. We'll compile this ourselves. So on config init, what you can do is if you look at self, which is the current object, and you look at whatever, you can just type mod name. Come on, save, build. We moved the sky config base out of a directory, and then we moved it back in, and code got confused because we moved that import to the mods folder, and then we moved it back in, and code doesn't know that we moved it back in. So if I just type mod, I get mod name because that's a property on sky config base. It's a public property. You could say self dot, and you can see all of the things on the current object, if you will. So there's mod name and there's pages, which are two properties. One's a string array and one's just a string. So you can say mod name equals do stuff. And then pages, you can make this dynamic if you want. Some people will set this equal to one page, and then the page just says click here to enable my mod. And then after you enable the mod, then whoop, the next time you go to the menu, if you close out and come back, it'll show all of your pages. So let's say new string array 1, and then set pages 0, the first one, equal to settings, or let's say install. Save. We could build. Yeah, we'll build. We won't even show any pages. Sure, I'll just show you how this works. We're going to be closing and reopening Skyrim a bunch because so far in my playing around, I have not gotten a reload script to work with SkyUI mod configuration menus, which is annoying because when you're working on a menu, you want to make a tweak and run it, make a tweak and run it, or whatever. Now once we hop in here, we're looking for a message at the top left, which if you've used Skyrim SkyUI before, you're familiar with. It's going to say MCM menu registered. There we go. There's two of them because one is SkyUI and one of them is our mod. Go to System, go to Mod Configuration. Here it says Do Stuff, and there's one page called Install that has nothing on it. I won't leave you there. I'll leave you with the ability to add a couple things to the page. So let us go to the documentation. So you do stuff on page reset, and let's just copy. Copy. That's a good way to learn. I'm going to paste and say we have one option called option A. And when you highlight it with your mouse, it'll say blah, 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 blah. It's just a toggle option. It's an on-off. If you select it, then it gets set to true, and its default is false. Let's say we have a Boolean that we store in StorageUtil for whether or not the mod is on or off. So we'll say bool function is mod enabled, and it'll return StorageUtil dot. Let's see, look for. Oh, there's no bools, but we can do int. Get int value. Top level is none, so we'll say none, and we'll say do stuff mod enabled. That should just return the int. You can specify that if it's missing what the default value is, and by default it's 0, so that's what we want. So if this equals 1, then the mod is enabled. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll say if is mod enabled, then we'll do a couple pages. Else we'll just show one page with a button that says install me. Foo bar Baz. Cool. So on page reset, if you're on the install page, because it gives you the name of the page, and if there's no name to the page, if page equals 0, then you haven't selected a page yet. And a lot of people will add some cute image or something. I don't have my tools installed to get a DDS image. We could grab one from another plugin. Maybe I'll show you in another tutorial series. I know people like to have their logo there. Here, let me off screen go to GitHub. Let me go to see if I can grab a DDS file for us. This should be 768 by 444. Images, MCM DDS, raw, save. Cool, fine. What we can do is in our mod, do stuff. Make a folder called interface. And in there, we'll make a folder with our mod's name, just do stuff. And then in there, we could put a DDS texture. Here's one that I downloaded from a mod that I was working on. I don't have GIMP installed, so I can't download a file and make a DDS. I'll show you how to do that in the next episode where we go over tools. And I just call it MCM usually. And so what you can do is say, if the page is empty, which means you haven't clicked on a page yet. We can show a logo. We can load custom content, and whatever you put in here is a path to a file in the interface directory. So I normally just do stuff /mcm.dds. Otherwise, in case that content was loaded previously, unload custom content. Otherwise, it's always going to show, and it'll like overlap with your other page, I think. So, if page equals install, and I'll show you in other episodes, I think, how to do translation. If it's install, then we will add an option, just like a little toggle option, to install. And we'll call the option install. And we'll say install, and it'll default to false. So if you hover over this, it's the name of the state that will get used. So every option, be it a text field or a little on-off toggle checkbox switch or a key binding or whatever, you'll give it its own state, and then you can put functions inside that state that are just associated with that option. So when someone uses their mouse to highlight it, what do you want to print out? When they click it to select it, what do you want to print out, or what do you want to do, and what do you want the default to be when the page renders? And you can do flags like disabled, and you can just start typing stuff like disabled, and you'll find the flag. You can just look for option flag, and you can see that you can hide it. I don't know what unmap is, but anyway. And whether it's checked or not. Checked is false because we're on the install page. You can only get to the install page if we haven't enabled it yet. So we'll change our state name to option install, or I'll call it toggle. The default value should be false because you can only get there if it's false. And when it's true, we'll turn it on, and we will say function enable mod. And we'll do StorageUtil.setIntValue. Do stuff mod enabled. We should obviously put this out somewhere so that we don't mess up the name of it. Set it equal to 1. So we will call enable mod. Click to enable mod. Save build. Burr, burr, burr. 2 hours and 8 minutes. That's okay. I mean, like, this is the stuff we've done. Oh my god. I can't believe this is the same episode where we went over UI extensions. God. This 12 episode series, some of these are long. I'll break things out into other episodes, but not for this 12 episode series. That's my DDS thing. I was making a thing called PapyrusUtil. If we go to install, there's a little thing called install. Click to enable mod is what it says down below. If I click it, ooh, nothing's happening. But let's go back and go back into it. Let's go all the way back out and go back into it. Clicking is doing nothing. It's doing nothing, I say. Nothing. Nothing at all. I can't leave you with that. Can I? I can't. I cannot. Oh, this is text option. Set toggle option value st to false by default. This is a damn toggle option. I think you just passed the whether it's checked or not. Cool. And we'll call enable mod first. Should set int value to 1. And when we load, we check to see if the mod is enabled, which checks the same int value to see if it equals 1. I want to leave you with this working. Did I use the right add toggle option? Okay, good, I did. Wait for the menu thingy to show up in the upper left. And we can go there. Click. Enable mod. To go back out of here and go back into it. Oh man. Go all the way back out and back into it. Still says that. Why? Wow. I gotta fix this for you. I gotta fix this for you. Maybe I'll pause and play. Enable mod. Set it to true. Let's not set it to true. Let's set it to is mod enabled. And let's set it to is mod enabled by default. No, that's not going to work. We could also just switch over from StorageUtil to a property on our quest. I just got a delivery to my door. Enabled false. Enabled true. It says down there is enabled true. If we head out of here and head back in here, it says enabled true. I wonder if you have to do something to clear out those pages once they're set. Let's go back in. I've seen people do this. It says it's already enabled. So isn't mod enabled should be returning true. So that was actually really useful. If is mod enabled, then do this. Oh, and config init only runs once. Oh, I'm so dumb. See what I just did? When I enable the mod, I'm going to reset the pages right then. See if it works. I'm stoked to get these next 2 episodes done. You are going to love it. Next episode is just like a ton of tools. We're going to learn how to open up BSA files and DDSs and NIF files and fuzz files and all these different things. Sweet. Service rate. Alright. Yo. Sweet. JContainers, read about it. You want to get it way more up and running with stuff before you need it, probably. We didn't get to I want widgets. It's okay. I haven't used it anyway, and so it would probably take us at least 30 minutes to get a widget up and running. So, ConsoleUtil, PapyrusUtil. If you just want to print to the console, PapyrusUtil and ConsoleUtil both have that functionality. SkyUI makes you download the SDK. UIExtensions for nice, like a little wheel doohickey or a list or collecting text input. Papyrus Extender gives you extra events, and there's a ton of new functionality, like functions that it gives you that we didn't even look at all. LibFire has some stuff, like grabbing nearby followers or nearby actors in general. Sweet! Okay, y'all. Peace. I hope you had fun. We went through a lot of stuff. I hope this is a good reference video. I hope that someone out there watches it, learns something, and probably comes back to this video at some point and looks for the time codes. I'll put time codes for ConsoleUtil, UIExtensions, PapyrusUtil, SkyUI, Papyrus Extender. I'll just put a couple of time codes. I don't have a ton of time to rewatch all of these and put really detailed time codes. If you send them to me, then I will post them in the video description. How about that? Alright, sweet. I'm ready to do this next one. So hop on over to that video playlist if you want to learn about the anatomy of mods and all the different tools that you need installed as a modder to work with mods and all their different files and to edit existing mods and make patches to them. Click that next episode or jump right over to the following one where we're going to package mods for release. And then after that, closing out this 12 episode series. Thank you so much and happy modding. Thank you.